Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting and interesting episode of Generation Now. And just like we know, Generation Now is a show where we get to discuss, dissect and do justice to anything that has to do with education. Yes, like we know, everyone as students would want to excel in academics. Yeah, we want to do better, we want to impress people, we want to impress our lecturers, our course mates and even ourselves. But the truth is, just don't wish for it and get it. You've got to work for it. So on today's episode of Generation Now, I will be giving you tips and secrets on becoming a better student. Yes, on becoming a better student. Yes, they are very simple, but trust me, they're very effective. We'll be taking a very short break, and when I return, I'll be dropping my smart tips. Let's take a short break. Welcome back, and remember, this is Generation Now, and I am Chinaya, your host. And just like I promised, I will be dropping tips and secrets on becoming a better student. So let's go there. Number one, get prepared. Now, before you get to class, before you've made up your mind to go for any kind of lecture, I want you to psych yourself. There was this thing I used to do way back when I was in school. It sounded funny to my roommates, but it always worked for me. Yes, I'd always say, today is for lecture. I'm going in for class and I'm getting the best out of class. Trust me, as silly as it sounds, it always works. Get yourself prepared. Get yourself psyched up every morning, hoping to get the best out of the day. And when I talk about getting prepared, I'm not just talking about getting yourself psyched. I'm also talking about getting things ready for class a day before even. That includes your notebooks, your jotter, your pens. I say pens because going to class with a single pen, could always, disappoint. So go with blue, black, red, whatever color works for you, but just make sure you have 2 or 3 pens with you. Go with a textbook if that's a criteria for getting into lecture. Way back then in class, I used to go to classes with my textbooks because I needed them. I was a literature student, so we needed the literature books to read in class. So get yourself prepared and then make sure that's what you stick to for the rest of the day. And then number 2, be prompt. Very, very important. Why do I insist on being prompt? You see, when you get to class, to the lecture hall 20 minutes or more before the lecture begins, you have enough time to settle in, to get comfortable. For those of us who are always eager to get the front seats, yeah, that's the best time to get it. You rush down there, you have enough time, you could go through some previous notes. And yes, for those of us who like to chit chat and gossip, this is the best time to catch up on some little gossip before lecture begins. Yeah, so always make sure you're there 20 minutes before time, before lecture begins, and believe me, it always works. And my tip number 3, listen. Pay attention while in class. Why should you pay attention while in class? It will save you a lot of stress, my dear, a lot. Believe me, it's going to save you from the wrath of lecturers and the mockery of your fellow classmates. Because when you listen, it helps you ask questions constructively. You don't get to ask irrelevant questions. And when you listen in class, if you've read ahead of time, it helps you pick out important things. And then every other thing tends to get internalized. And just in case, if you're joining in now, I just want you to know that we're talking about the tips and secrets of becoming a better student. We've talked about 3 so far. We said number 1, be prepared. Get yourself psyched up every morning. Yeah, today is the day. I'm getting the best out of class and no one's going to get me derailed. Number 2, be prompt. Be there 20 minutes earlier or even more so as to get yourself settled in. And number 3, listen and pay attention. Okay? You've gotten yourself psyched up for all of this, and this is the moment you're in class. Don't let it all go for waste. Okay? We'll be going on a short break, and when we return, I'll be giving you the rest of the tips, and believe you me, you'll be very glad you did listen to the end. Let's take a short break. Welcome back, and this is still Generation Now, where we get to talk about everything and anything that has to do with education. Okay, I've been giving you tips on how to become a better student. I've given you 3 already. Listen, be prompt, be prepared. Okay, so now I'm going to roll out the other tips for you. At number 4, I have study ahead. Now, when I talk about studying ahead, it means after today's lecture, don't just go home to while away time. Take your time to read on the next chapter, to read on the next topic. And yes, I get it. There are some lecturers who don't, who have this habit of skipping some chapters and some topics so they don't follow things serially. But it wouldn't hurt to, follow things serially yourself. Now, the reason why I keep insisting on studying ahead of time is when you come to class for the next lecture, everything becomes easy. It's just like the lecture is re-echoing everything you've gone through. So all you have to do is just take down some notes, mentally document some things that he has emphasized or elaborated on. And then also, at this point, you can get to ask questions properly and get your answers given to you. I hope you're following very well. And at number 5, we have do not procrastinate. When we talk about procrastinating, we mean holding off things, putting off things that should have been done today. Things you should have done at the moment. You're thinking, let me have this put aside. I'll have it done next time. It never helped anyone. Those last moment rush could have you so disorganized, have your work in shambles. You end up not having things tidied up. And now when I talk about studying ahead of time, I'm also referring to research works, group and team presentation. It could be personal or individual assignments. Whatever it is, make sure you have given yourself time to do everything earlier on. The last one. It may not seem like something that should be added to as a tip or a secret. Some persons might frown at it, but it's something that helped me during my time in school. And that's being courteous. Be courteous to your course mates, and most importantly, to your lecturers. Yes, I said it, your lecturers. Be respectful, and then be friendly. And when I say friendly, I mean reasonably friendly. We're in Nigeria, okay? And as much as we may not want to admit it, those lecturers are like demigods. So give them that respect that they always require from you, and make sure that you're friendly with them. Initially, when I got into school as a first year, my head was hot. I always had this outlook in life that I had to uphold that good girl attitude, and at some point it made me have some issues with some lecturers, but by the time I got to realize that I could also be friendly, to some extent, and it could work out for me positively, I had to sit up. I became friendly, but I was reasonably friendly with them. I had some boundaries set. You shouldn't cross that. Now, the reason why I insist on being friendly and courteous with your lecturers is there are some perks involved. Okay? There are some things you might need, and they are the only ones who could get to help you. They can help you in ways people can't even begin to imagine. So, I'm hoping that in as much as you are grateful for this last tip, that you do not misuse it. Okay, now we're going to take it all from the top again, so you get to remember. Okay, so number one, I said, be prepared. Get your things ready a day before, even for lecture. Number two, be prompt, be there on time, 20 minutes earlier, you know, gives you time to settle in. Number three, once you're in class, pay attention. This is it. This is the moment you've been waiting for. You've psyched up for it. You've prepared for it. So don't let it go to waste. So number four, read ahead, study ahead. The next chapter, the next topic, it helps. Number five, do not procrastinate. Do not push off what you should do now. Be it personal or individual assignments, research work, teamwork, group study. Make sure you do it at the moment it's supposed to be done. And then at number six, I said, be courteous, be respectful, be reasonably friendly with the almighty lecturers, okay? And it will always work out for good. I know you enjoyed today's segment in Generation Now, and you would always want to get tips and secrets, very simple but effective tips like this. Trust me, you can only get it here on Generation Now on our Lower TV. So, subscribe to our YouTube channel to get much more interesting, expository and educating videos that would help you. Go on ahead and like all our social media pages, and also do not forget to join the conversation with the hashtag Generation Now. I will be personally there to answer your questions, to respond to your comments. Till I get to see you next time on another episode of Generation Now, keep it locked down here on our Lower TV. It's your girl, Chineye. Thank you for watching.